And welcome to another video, as our engineer here is taking some well-deserved R&R after driving all the way around a planet. But while he is taking a break here, let's figure out what we're going to do for Season 4, because I am quite excited about Season 4. It is probably the most excited I've ever been for one of my series, as I've got a bunch of really interesting stuff that I've added, and it's all fresh to me, so it's going to be really nice to work through it and share my experience learning it with you guys. So the tide here on the water mod, which is obviously the first thing that we're going to talk about, the tide is causing him to slowly go up and down as I'm talking. Alright, come on dude, get out of your seat. First things first, this planet and water mod, as they were built for each other. This is Planet Agaris. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, you can go ahead and tell me if I am or not, Mr. Map Creator. But this is an entirely custom planet that is built for water. Like, if you take a look at Earth-like and you put water mod on it, you put it at a reasonable depth. It's kind of ugly in the sense that there's only water around the equator. Like, there's only, like, the parts of the water, it's kind of silly. Like, you have, like, forests going into the water just because it just slaps water on the planet. It was never built for water. Where this planet is built from the start for water to be at this particular level around the entire planet, so that there are beaches, there are rivers, the underwater surface actually looks like the bottom of an ocean instead of just terrain that has been covered over by water. As you can see, it's a little dark down here, but it's just sand textures down here. It's pretty obviously supposed to be under the water, and it just looks so good. It just looks amazing, and I can't wait until we have to build some boats to be able to go from island to island, from continent to continent, to be able to gather different resources and have different experiences fighting enemy bases and such. Like, I was thinking about it, and it's kind of funny. The game is Space Engineers, and Season 1 I did Space Engineers as I was on the moon for the most of the time. Season 2 I was kind of like mostly on Earth and was just doing like construction company engineers and like skyscraper engineer. And now Season 3 was rover engineer. Then Season 4 is going to be boat engineers because I foresee myself making a ton of boats, as we are going to need them on this planet. There is more water than there is terrain here, so a lot of travel is going to be on the water. I think a lot of combat is going to be on the water, but we'll get to the combat in the future. The other feature, one of the other features that is, of this planet being entirely custom, is that it's going to utilize the new modular encounters systems. Now, this just updated. It used to be the modular encounters spawner, but now it is modular encounters systems, and that incorporated I think it was Rival AI into it, as well as made several rewrites and just upgrades to the mod. One of those being handling fixed position spawns. So you can say, at this location, you will always have this unique spawn for you to go to. And as you can see several of them on the map here, we've got different allied and enemy bases that we can go and visit, trade with them, attack them, destroy them. All sorts of cool stuff. So let's take, for example, we'll just pop down here and I'll leave my little floaty there. We'll come back to it in a minute. We can just say, pop off to the HQ. Fly on over here And let me use my magical powers to make it daytime in this location. You can also see that this planet has roads on it. So smoothed out clear voxels where it's obvious that you can drive on it. And those go to most of the ore patches and interesting like NPC outposts and such. So you can just follow a road and you'll eventually run into something cool. But at the mouth of this river here, there is the HQ. So we'll pop in our engineer here and we can see that the HQ has loaded and they greet us. Greetings, Kanajashi. You're now in UCA space. Please make sure to follow our guidelines. It's Agris Heavy Engineering. We'll fly on down and go into these places. I mean, most of it is just for looks, but there's some of these spots have store blocks at them where you can buy and sell goods, such as this one has one out in the water where we can buy and sell boats, although it's not showing up for some reason. I turned on economy, but for some reason it's not showing the boat. I don't know why. But hopefully that is fixed by the time this mod comes out, because it isn't scheduled to be released yet. It is in a preview stage. They're still working on it, and it's going to be sometime in October. And when it comes out, that's when Season 4 will start. But, like, for example, you'll be able to come here and then buy a series of different boats from these guys for however many credits. You can go to Carcosa, fly on over there. They are up on a cliff here by the beach. And again, another unique spawn. It will always spawn this particular base at this location. And you can come on inside the garage here. We got the B4 Industries, and there is a store block here where you can buy vehicles. So say, for example, let's buy a light cargo truck. It is, for some reason, $193 million, which is a little much. Probably would just build it myself for that cost, but hey, why don't we just give myself I don't know, $1 billion. There we go. I am a billionaire now. There is nothing that can stop me. Just purchase that. As you can see, it has been made just outside the facility here in the back. We can teleport ourselves to it, and bada boom, bada bing, we have a cargo truck that we purchased. And we can go take that off, drive it out of the facility here, and then just go along the pre-made roads off on our cargo running adventures to the next location. So having these fixed spawns will have like destinations I can go to. Maybe there's an ore base that was going to buy specific ores off of me, and if I could, I'll load up at the mine and then I'll drive over there and sell them all and make that money to then buy a boat. Something I can do. So park that up, leave that there. The other aspect of this map, this spawners, is that the resources are at fixed locations. And this is very important. And it also ties into industrial overhaul as well for this mod pack. So if I press a button here and I bring up this, we can see that this is the map. This was the island that I started on right here. I started in that little bay right there. And we can see that there's iron there. There's nickel there. And there's silicon there. So if we pop back to the game and I zoom on out and I go and remember where the hell that was. It's relatively near Sunset City, but further south of it. And I change the time back. Ah, here we go. There's a starting island. Or at least where the preview of this map starts you. But we know that this here is iron. But look at that ore patch. This isn't a tiny ore patch. This isn't like a little 100 meter by 100 meter ore patch that you'll get in the normal Space Engineers. Oh no. This ore patch, it starts here, and I will leave my character there. And it goes all the way over to here. Five kilometers almost across. 5 kilometers across for an iron node. There's literally underneath the surface here, just like 20 meters down, there is enough iron to do anything with. Because it's just this giant iron node. But as we can see on the, oh god, I gotta go to the map here. As we can see on this map, that's it for iron in this area. If I want iron, I have to go over to here, or if I have to go into the desert. That is the only iron on this island. There's a lot of it, but it's only in that one spot. So you start to have this, okay, this realization of it's about logistics. Because look at this map. What's very important here? I don't have cobalt on this island. So if I start here, I have to get across the water to here to get cobalt. Or I have to go over to here and fight a pirate base to get cobalt. And so do I want to start here? You know, then you start getting this question of, ooh, where are the good resources? Like, ooh, there's all sorts of iron and stuff here, but all these enemy bases I don't want to fight. And there's all like, oh, there's some really nice resources here, but there's allied bases. I'd have to like, that might be a good place. I want to be on this continent so that I can have access to that cobalt that's just within drivable range. I just have to drive down this road and up and around there to get to the cobalt mine. But there, you're never going to have a situation where it's like small nodes of resources 500 meters apart from each other. It's always going to be these giant mother loads of resources, but they're going to be like 20 kilometers from each other. So you're going to have to do this logistics. I'm so excited for that because it's something that's normally never in Space Engineers. We have to think about like, oh, god damn, I need to go do this long resource run, and I need to go get fuel, and I need to be able to like make my trip worthwhile, and how much time is that going to use? It's great stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. Picking out a good spawn point on this map. And important to note, this map is showing off the different sort of enemy regions, where we've got the green bordered here are the nice guys. We've got this like capitalistic corporation that is like, get your hands off our stuff. We have rights to it, so they'll attack you. We have the results-oriented sciences that are taking over different areas. They're bordered in red. And then we have the desert pirates, which are just like, they'll shoot anybody. So you've got 4 different factions here: the blue, the green, the red, and the white. 3 of them will shoot at you, and 1 of them will tolerate you as long as you don't shoot at them. But this does not show where Industrial Overhaul has its nodes. That is actually, if I bring this over and pop it in, if that worked properly, yes it did. That popped up nicely. This is where Industrial Overhaul is going to have its nodes. So like for example here will be iron and copper and silicon. And there'll be coal on that northern island. And there's like lithium is only in the desert. That's the only place you can get lithium. So you have to fight the pirates in the desert to get lithium. And like there's only gold deep in the desert. And like uranium is only at the South Pole where a giant enemy base is. So you have these different places to get the high-end materials that you'll have to fight through. So I'm thinking for Industrial Overhaul, this beach might be good. Because we got our iron and our copper and our cobalt. And then we can go over here if we really need more nickel besides just drilling dirt. And we get our oil production online. And then once we get all of that running, we're pretty much just tickety-boo. We're good. Because this is enemy terrain here. Otherwise, I would have started to start on this beach. But yeah, that's the map. We'll pop back into the game here. That's the setting. But now what are we going to do here? Well, the cool part will be that we've got Industrial Overhaul on. So when we're going to be doing different, say, at least different production facilities here, we've got so much production that we can do. We've, like, ceramics furnaces for glass and ceramics, cement kiln to make concrete, microelectronics to make advanced computers, got wire drawers that'll automate our different like copper wires and things, like loom to make fabrics, like crude oil into various products that then need to be like distilled down to make all sorts of wonderful stuff. It's going to be more satisfactory-esque than just regular space engineers. Because, regular space engineers, all you really have to do is just go, I still have the wood paneling on. No wood paneling, please. All you have to do is just slap down a little bit of a platform, throw down a refinery, and put a assembler, if it's even here anymore, assembler onto that refinery, and literally that's it. That's all of Space Engineer's refining and processing. You put any amount of resources and any type of resources into the refinery, and you can build every single item into the game as long as you have the resources for it. That's it. There's no other tech you need to upgrade. Where you have to do all of this, all of it, for Industrial Overhaul. Way more infrastructure required, way more power required. Just the fact that there's certain recipes that require base components to be crafted. So like if I slap down an assembling bench here and I try to make a motor, for example, motors need electromagnets, but then electromagnets need iron copper wire. But this needs copper wire too. So I need to make double copper wire. And that needs large steel too, so it needs iron as well. So there's like the sub items within it, which is something that Space Engineers never does. It's always just the item requires base components, base minerals, materials. They never have this like you need to craft a precursor material for it. I think that's really cool, and we'll go into the automation I need to do. I want to make sure that I have so many of this on hand at once kind of feeling, so that if I need to craft a high-end item, I've already got all the individual components to go all the way up, so that way I can just craft that high-end item and then it'll automatically sort of refill my stock of the lower-end intermediary components. Awesome stuff. As well, with Industrial Overhaul, it changes a lot of things with, like, hydrogen balance and whether or not those tanks float in water and such. I've done a couple just quality of life things to make sure the non-player character, like the spawns, don't just like sink or crash when they spawn into this world because of the changes from Industrial Overhaul. So I think everything should just be okay and run normal. Addition, making its return is your daily needs survival, just to add that additional little thing of, oh god, I need to take food, I need to grow stuff, and I need to have water. Good thing is water will never be an issue because you can get infinite ice from water mod just by sticking a collector under the surface and setting it to go. It'll just pull in like a couple thousand water per second, which is ridiculous. And so you can always have water. Or sorry, pull in a couple hundred ice per second. And you'll always have water available, but something I never got around to, say, like soil trays and actually growing carrots and stuff like that, and having the full proper meals out of daily needs. I really want to make a fake greenhouse and figure that out. And Harpy is approaching the ground installation. So now that I've got an enemy coming in, let's show off the weapon core. I need a battery on here to power this stuff. But like, for example, we've got weapon core. We've got modded weapons. Let's throw down a few Northwind turrets because they're really strong. You go 100 millimeter. Shoot that guy. Should be far enough out. Yeah. What's his range? His range is 2.5k. Is he approaching me or that? Oh, he's approaching the lookout tower, I think. Maybe. We shall see. But yeah, good transition to weapon core. Weapon cores here, because we're going to be doing a lot of NPC combat. There's 2 packs that I'm looking for weapon core. There's Northwind here. I think it had some really cool ship weapons, just like some railguns, some AMSs, some fixed howitzers and stuff like that. But mainly I'm looking for its turrets of the various types. We'll just plop them all down here. We've already got the, what is that, 100 millimeter gun turret, which is kind of like your bow gun on a cruiser type ship. We got a Swizz, a close-in weaponry system for shooting down fast-moving targets or missiles, and great big cannons for shooting enemy ships. And I really like the fact that these have like a depth to them, so I can like build a ship around them rather than just having like a flat plane there that I just flap on top of a ship. And then like some other big ones here. Just plop them out. And slap these big boys down. I should definitely rotate that so the guns aren't pointing into each other. But like, oh, these guys are they gonna shoot at them? Oh goddamn. You guys gonna shoot that far? Yes, please. Fire! Go artillery. See, this is the kind of stuff I want on a boat. Can you imagine a couple of these in like a super firing position? One is shooting above the other. Here, I can just set that up real quick. Be like that, and then the other one would be like up here. Probably closer to that, but you know, like one on top of each other, just like in a real battleship. Just have these giant ass guns. And let's go see what they're doing. Because that AI seems to be getting shot at. Oh, there's the shells going in. They missed. But there's the enemy pirate ship after raiding the lookout tower and fighting it. But now it is getting shot at by guns. But yeah, if there's any particular weapon core pack that is like the best thing ever, then let me know, because I don't know very much about weapon core. I just like the look of these Northwind, and I like the look and balance of, what's the other one here, is this like Arlex Aaron weapons. These look pretty nice, and they balance quite well into Industrial Overhaul, where I've got like a good good flat cannon and a good like basic cannon with just basic components. And then if I want to get anything higher, it requires grids. If I want to get anything higher, then it requires like electromagnets and stuff. And those are just high-end resources in Industrial Overhaul. So good. So that's the planet, spawnings, the weapon core. What else? Oh, aerodynamics. So we're gonna have flight controls, all that kind of stuff. So it's very simple. We're just gonna have plane pieces. Like, there's the full aerodynamics mod. You can see if I start flying around really quickly, you can see the heat start to build up. So if I make my stuff fly too quickly, it will heat up and it will burn up in the atmosphere. The full aerodynamics mod is in here, not just Digi's wings that are just the wings of aerodynamics. No, this is all blocks of aerodynamics now, so you can just build your own wings, but we also do have the wing mod, so you can use that to make some epic planes, as well as, like, you know, plane wheel suspension and all sorts of wonderful stuff. So I'll be able to build all sorts of planes. I'm planning to use less like attack planes and more of like gunships and cargo planes. So, because that will be a really nice thing to do, of like, you have a runway you've built up in the mountains and you've got a mine going, and you're gonna land with a cargo plane and grab a bunch of resources, then take off and fly across the water on a nice long journey home, and then land in and unload and, you know, make those trips with your cargo planes. I think that would be a really fun aspect of it. And then try to think about other cool things. Right. Plane aerodynamics, water, daily needs, industrial overhaul, this planet, the spawning weapon core, gone over all of that. The last thing would be, it's like the really cool aspect of it, is these two mods, pipelines and tethers, that will allow me to make bases separate from each other that then share resources and power. So if I say, for example, draw this out and then get rid of the blocks in between, and we have just like this separate floating base over here, I want to be able to get power to that base. So I can do a power line. So I can put down a transformer pylon there and a transformer pylon there, and there's no battery on this base, but I'm going to put on, say, a spotlight, because I want to be able to see. I want to build a battery here, but what I can do is click on this, go over to this one, click on that, and now this spotlight is on. This is drawing power through the line from that grid, which is absolutely cool. And you can do this up to 100 meters, and then you can just repeat it again. So for example, I can go and I'll draw out some more blocks, and I'll get rid of those. That doesn't... I should probably actually make that a static block. Make it a static block in the surface here. And I'll put down another transformer pylon, and I'll just copy that, and I'll just throw down a couple more of them. We'll hook these all up, and I'll put a spotlight on. And all I need to do now is just hop the transformers back, connecting them all with cables, back to this original one here, and then I can head back, and that spotlight's on. So what I should be able to do with that is build a single power place. It's like a single power plant per island or per continent or whatever it is, that should cover all of my power issues. With industrial overhaul, power is completely changed. You're mainly running off of wind at the beginning, which is pretty normal, but you're not going to get to solar anytime soon because you need to do glass stuff for that. And so, and also hydrogen, I'm going to add a mod that basically makes it so that hydrogen sucks for power, because you have free infinite ice, and if you just left that normal anywhere that you had access to the water mod water, you could have infinite power. So that's no fun. So I'm going to make it so that we can't just run hydrogen engines and generators. So I'm going to have to say, like, for example, it would be like oil sands. I'm going to have to set up a fracking site there to get the oil sands and turn it into like burn it in gasoline engines or something like that, and then that like power station will have these tethers across the terrain to power all of my other outbuildings and satellite outposts in that area using these tethers, which is going to be amazing. The other thing that goes along with these tethers, and that we can put in actually right beside these tethers, is pipelines, which do the exact same thing as tethers, but with items. So I believe this should work. There's a little bit of flex with the pipelines, but hopefully this is within their tolerances. So if we get out the pipeline, we got a pipeline hub. And what you'll do is you'll place it somewhere, and you'll see, you get the little arrows on the side of it that point it in a direction. So things are going to go to the right. It's a one-way trip. They're going to the right. You can't change that. You can see we've got a conveyor at the bottom. So you want to put like a sorter into the pipeline, so you're only sending through the items you want to go through. But once they're in the pipeline, they'll just go dunk, 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 down it, and to be deposited at the other end in another conveyor system. So we'll plop this bad boy down. Then all I have to do is just plop another one down relatively in line. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then they automatically hook up. So again, just relatively in line with it. You can see this isn't perfectly set up, but it snaps. So it's great for going over this rough terrain. There's like, these are not set up like within like on the same grid as each other, but the pipeline don't care, and it just sends it down the pipeline. So I can make this would be like a mid-game thing that I would do. I don't think they take any like real they take an aluminum plate, so it would be a later mid-game of industrial overhaul in order to make these. So there's a little bit of we'll need to do some logistics with trucks and planes first before we can build pipelines. But this would be a great end game, like late game project to go to, say, our most like an important mine, like a cobalt mine up north, and I'm going to set up a great big miner, and I'm going to have it feed cobalt back through a pipeline back to my base. That's epic. That's awesome. I would be able to set up this pipeline going over the mountainside and have basically pipeline and power line thing just like this, just flowing over a mountainside to get back to me. I'm super excited about building that, because that is like a good project to do like on a live stream. You just like, okay, we got 3 hours. We're going to build a pipeline from A to B, and it's going to be amazing. So other than that, those particular mods, there isn't really anything that's like, oh my god, this is game breaking and I can't wait like to show it to you. The rest of it's just like quality of life mods, some small like there's the lightning rod mods. That way we have lightning rods, you know, stuff that you've already seen. Nothing really exciting there. But yeah, water mod, industrial overhaul, daily needs, weapon core, modular and counter systems with a custom NPCs for this planet on the custom planet with the custom ore spawns to make things logistically difficult for myself. Then to solve some of those logistical difficulties, we've got pipelines and tethers to connect our bases that will be spread across the planet. All while we're able to fly around with aerodynamics. This is going to be a good series. It will most likely begin mid-October. And that's the best I can say about it so far. Still testing, still waiting for the actual mod to come out here. And then we've got to get the mod for the planet that has the industrial overhaul ore spawn set. because this just has vanilla ore spawns at the moment. So I've got to wait a little bit. But I think the wait will be worthwhile when we get this kind of stuff in the game. So hopefully that's exciting for you guys, as it is very exciting for me. And we'll see you guys later. Well, good hunting out there, fellow space engineers.